What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today we're going to be taking our first look and our first flight at the PowerVision PowerEgg X. This is the first drone that I've ever flown from PowerVision, so I'm actually very excited to get this in the air and see how it handles. And when I saw this at CES 2020, it instantly became one of the drones that I was most excited to check out this year because you can fly it in the rain and you can also land and take off on a body of water. Now, you do need some extra waterproof accessories in order to do those things, and for this video, I'm going to be flying it in its base form just to get a better understanding of its performance as well as its flight time and the image quality, and I don't want anything else affecting that. Now, I am going to be doing a rain flight, and I am going to be landing and taking off on water. In fact, I think it's supposed to rain on Tuesday, and I can firmly say that this is the first time I ever wanted it to rain when I was trying to put together a drone review. Now, really quickly, for those of you that are interested in the unboxing of this drone, it comes shipped in a case fitted with handles that upon first impression is incredibly nice. It's very sturdy, it's definitely built well to protect your drone, and it's something that I think I'd actually use, which is not something I can say for most cases that come included with a tech product. Now, once we crack open this case, we're greeted with the PowerEgg X front and center, which kind of highlights this drone's weird design right off of the bat. Now, up on the lid of the case is some of the necessary paperwork that comes included, but taking the cardboard away reveals the rest of the components that come in the box. We've got the remote, the charger and some extra tools, the arms that attach to the PowerEgg X and allow it to fly, some smaller accessories that allow you to use this drone as a camcorder, which is another selling point that PowerVision is trying to go after. There's also a microfiber cloth bag that further protects the glossy finish of the egg, and of course the PowerEgg X itself front and center. Now, as I mentioned towards the beginning of this video, I also got the waterproof accessories, which include the floats, an extra battery, some extra propellers, and the waterproof housing or case that surrounds the entire drone. But remember, we won't be adding these accessories onto the drone during our flight today. Now, in terms of the assembly of this drone, it is very easy. You pop the top lid off of the egg, which reveals the battery, and also two slots on either side, which the arms slide into, and I don't feel any give, so I'm not worried about one popping off mid-flight. I also just want to say that right off of the bat, I am a huge fan of the ergonomics of this controller. You all know that I'm a big proponent of having a good controller, because if the controller sucks, then the flight experience will ultimately suck. I haven't flown this drone yet, and I can already tell that the sticks feel really easy to move and they feel very precise. Also, something that I really like about this remote controller is the fact that the screen is front and center. It's elevated up off of the remote controller. It kind of pushes it up right where your eyes fall, so it is comfortable to hold, it's comfortable to use. The one thing that I just don't understand, though, is that they have a full-sized USB-A port on the back to plug into your mobile device, and you also charge it with a micro USB port. It's 2020. I just feel like everything should be USB-C at this point. Now, usually this is the point where I'd fly the drone, but it seems that I'm getting an abnormality with the ESC, so I'm gonna go check that out, and I'll be back in hopefully a couple of seconds. Alright guys, so really quickly, I'm jumping in here, shooting this portion after the fact, after I just shot my full entire first flight with the PowerEgg X. As I sat down to edit this video, I went to go and pull the footage off of the SD card that was inside of the drone and realized that there was no footage in there. There was actually only 3 short video clips that were between 9 to 12 seconds long, and usually in my video, I like to share with you guys the footage from the drone, the screen recording, as well as a camera pointed on my face so you guys can kind of make that connection. But there's absolutely no video to share with you guys. I mean, I guess that I can show you this quick 9-second clip of this train that I was flying by, and I just gotta say right off the bat, I'm not impressed with the footage whatsoever. But here's the thing, this is a massive bug. If PowerVision can't fix this, if their drone can't reliably shoot video, there's really no reason, in my opinion, to actually fly it. And also, just getting back to this footage here, this looks like something that was shot with the original Mavic Pro released back in 2016. So yeah, despite the app saying that I was recording, and despite that record timer in the top right corner going up, showing that I was recording for well over 10 minutes, all I've got is 30 seconds worth of footage, and that's something that absolutely has to be addressed by PowerVision immediately for this drone to be really anything that anybody should buy. So yeah, okay, on with the video. Alright, so it actually didn't only take me a couple of seconds to fix. Instead, it's now 3 days after the initial intro clips you guys just watched were shot. So that was on a Sunday. It's now Wednesday. They had to send me a brand new drone because that ESC problem would not go away. I also had a couple of other issues. For some reason, I think the drone was dented in the back side. I think that there was a shipping issue. Maybe the package wasn't handled all that well, but regardless, we're here. We finally got the drone and it flies and there's no sort of issues as far as I can see. So we're gonna take this thing off finally. You can prime the motors by pushing the sticks inwards. I can say that it is pretty quiet for the most part. And it also does feel pretty smooth. All right. So now we're going up. I do see a little bit of choppiness in the video transmission already. Also, I don't know the difference between the P, the N, and the E mode. So let's just send it down the water here. I am shooting 4K at 60 frames per second. We're about 100 feet up. We're flying at a speed of about 32 feet per second. Why wouldn't they show miles per hour? I can't do that quick conversion in my head. I wish they just showed miles an hour. I get they get to put the bigger number up there. They can show 32 feet per second. I thought at first it was going 33 miles an hour. All right, so I'm in the N mode right now. Let's put it in the P mode. All right, so we're getting a much faster speed now out of the drone. It says 48 feet per second. Again, whatever that is in miles per hour. Maybe I'll put some sort of conversion up on the screen if I remember. So the transmission still seems pretty great, and I still can see it. We're about 2,000 feet away. When I do these first flight videos here up on top of the parking garage at my apartment complex, I like to fly it initially just down to that further bridge just to get an understanding of, you know, what the transmission system is like and see if it can hold up. And so far, I mean, there's no gripes at all. The gimbal is a little bit fast. Now, I want you, in terms of pitching up and down, I want you guys to look at the screen recording right now. Look at how busy everything is, right? The histogram is massive. The gimbal degree pitch on the right side is huge. I just wish they would shrink things down. You can swipe with 2 fingers and get rid of everything if you want to. Let's see, so we've got about 87% battery left. We'll spin her around here. Something that I do want to shoot is this train sitting over here. Whoa, the gimbal is pretty quick. I do have to dial that in. So we're flying back now. I do have to say that it does feel pretty good, like the control of the drone. Besides that gimbal, I'm definitely gonna have to turn that down, the sensitivity of it. Whoa. You see this thing shooting up and down all around? All right, I'm just gonna change that right now because I'm not gonna be able to deal with that. So, gimbal, advanced settings, the sensitivity, we'll bring it down to like 5, and we'll put the upper limit on, so now we can look upwards a little bit. All right, so let's feel how that is. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'll still have to do some fine tuning on that. Alrighty, so we're in the P mode. I'm guessing that this is what gives you the most speed out of the drone. There is E mode. Let's switch over to that. Okay, now I'm going incredibly slow, about 1 foot per second. All right, we're gonna keep it in that P mode just to get around from place to place. So there is a train over here that I'd like to put the drone near, get some footage of it, see what it looks like. Obviously, I'm looking through the transmission right now, and I can tell that some of the highlights are clipping, blowing out a little bit. I do have the exposure set to auto right now. I don't have any ND filters on here whatsoever. So, you know, it could look entirely different when I go and put it on the computer, which I'm hoping it does because the footage doesn't look incredibly pleasing right now. So in order to get some shots of this, of the train, let's actually put it into the N mode. This will give us a little bit better control. We'll also turn on the front visual system. I feel like I know this app inside out by now because of all the firmware updates that I've had to do. Alrighty. We're not going to do anything crazy. We'll just fly down the train. We've also got I-76 there. It is kind of getting pushed around from the wind right now. I'm seeing some shaking within the live video feed. I don't know if you guys, or if that's being seen in the actual video itself. I'm also pushing this throttle as fast as I can, and it's going about 16 miles or feet per second. That's still messing me up. Let's get down a little bit closer to the actual train. See, I'm seeing a lot of shaking right now, and I don't know if it's the gimbal, I don't know if it's the drone. It continues to think that there's something in front of it. I mean, it's showing between 21.5 and 0.5 meters in front. I don't know about that. The drone just doesn't want to fly forwards right now. I've got the throttle pushed all the way forward. I guess it's because it thinks there's something in the way, even though there's not. Let's put it in that P mode. That disables the sensors. I'm not crazy about it right now. I remember when I flew the Mavic Mini in the same spot. I was really impressed for how good it did and how small it was. We've got about 72% battery left. I can see the drone now. Just want to make sure I don't hit any power lines or something. Alright, so we'll put it in N mode again. We'll begin to fly down the trains, just get some good looking footage. Just so we can look at it after the fact. I still see it shaking around. I kind of want to bring it closer to me and see what it looks like. See, it's not wanting to move forward whatsoever. It continues to think that there's something in the way, which just really doesn't make all that much sense. Now it's moving forward a little bit. I think that train might start to move. I just heard it kick on, which would be cool because we could chase it down the tracks a little bit. See, like, you guys are probably looking at this video right now and you're like, this looks awful. You suck at flying a drone. I just accidentally stopped the video recording. Alright, I just started again. Sorry about that. Usually whenever I shoot footage and I shoot a clip, I'll stop after the fact. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't feel like it's that precise. Let's get it over the water again. It is a little bit choppy. We'll bring it closer to us just so that we can see it as it flies. We can kind of zip right over our heads. It's still not letting me go, like, okay. So the sensors are just not working properly whatsoever. It continues to think there's something in front of it when there's actually not. Do a low pass right over us. Alright, so it is pretty quiet. It's definitely a fun drone to fly around, and like, it definitely feels responsive in terms of your stick input. I know that was something I said in the beginning when I looked at the actual controller itself and I was feeling the sticks. I could just tell that it was definitely going to be a responsive drone. We'll fly down to this bridge again. So, I want you guys to look at this application that's being used right now. Where do you guys think that they got their inspiration for this app? I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. It should be fairly obvious. If you guys want more of a hint, let me tap on the camera settings real quick. Go through some of these menus. You guys let me know where they got the inspiration for this, okay? Now we'll go into some of the deeper menus. Looks very similar to something that I use quite often. It is the DJI Go application, which, you know, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have said is a really good thing. But now the DJI Go app kind of feels outdated, especially after DJI Fly was introduced. Even though it doesn't have many features built in as DJI Go does, I still feel like it's a little bit cleaner. Alright, so 48 feet per second. Still, I'm a college student. I don't even know. I'm not taking any math classes right now. I don't know what that is translated to miles per hour. I do have to say, in regards to the image transmission system, from this spot, I flew the Mavic Mini. I flew the Skydio. There's a couple of other drones that I actually flew and took it down the water. And I got some really great range out of drones like the Mavic Mini, which is off of Wi-Fi. I got some really great range out of drones like the Mavic 2 Pro, of course, with OcuSync. But the Skydio, when I got down to that far bridge that I flew to in the very beginning, it totally lost connection. It had to return to home, and it didn't regain connection until it was directly above me. But this drone is actually doing a pretty good job at relaying that information and the, you know, the video feed back to me in a reliable manner. It's not all that choppy. It's something that I can actually look off of and frame a shot. Look really quickly at the map, though. I'll pull this up. I've noticed that, I don't know, sometimes it looks like you're going everywhere. Even if you have the drone just sitting there, it'll say that the drone is flying around. It's kind of weird. So we've got about 50% battery left. And I don't know if you guys saw, but we started out at about 90% battery. All right. The drone is directly behind me, so I'm not getting the best signal. I'm going to put it back out over the field and just give return to home a try. I know that a lot of people are interested in how return to home works. And with me flying as many DJI drones as I do, I always have so much trust in their drones, knowing that it's actually going to come back, return to home. But when I'm using a drone from another manufacturer, sometimes I wonder if return to home is actually going to work as intended. I forget what I was saying before that, sorry. If you guys looked at my Mavic Mini video, by the way, the first flight video, I flew over this construction site here. You see, this drone it's touchy. It's very sensitive, which means shooting cinematic video might not be as easy. But anyway, this is going to be a hotel. Pretty cool. I don't know exactly what chain of hotel it's going to be, but pretty interesting. I think last time I was flying around it, they had some cranes and stuff. Okay, so right now we're out that way. We are 300 feet in the air, and we are going to return to home. So there's a physical return home button, which is good. We'll tap on that. Did you guys see that bird just fly across underneath? That thing is circling me. I'm usually never really all that afraid of birds. I don't think it's necessarily going after my drone. Okay, so I have my return home altitude set at 120 meters, which is 400 feet. It's now saying that we have strong wireless interference, but the drone is coming back and flying back towards us. It completed the first portion of the return home properly, going up to the correct altitude. Now it's coming back towards us. And it is directly overhead, so we'll pitch the gimbal downwards. I am getting a good bit of interference here. So now let's see where it lands. This is always interesting. It looks like it's beginning its descent downwards. We've got about 40% battery left. So after this, once the drone lands, we'll put it back up, we'll fly around a little bit, and that'll kind of conclude this first flight video. This app just feels so jumbled. Like there's things overlapping over top of each other. The record time in the top right corner is overlapping over top of the gimbal pitch angle, and the histogram is massive. I don't know. I think it could use some tweaking. So it looks like it's landing in the same general area. It did take off from a little bit further back there. Looks like it might land a little bit closer behind me. It's really not all that bad. It does come down much more slowly. Cool. I mean, that works. We'll take off again. Auto check failed. What do we got? No, nothing's wrong. All right, now it says it's ready to go. Prime the motors. Take off. Pitch the gimbal upwards. Another thing that I'm noticing about... That bird is very close to me still. Another thing that I'm noticing about the video feed is that it seems stretched long ways from left to right. I'm guessing that the video file on the other end is going to be totally fine, but with this, the video feed, it seems to be like stretched. There's that bird again. You guys see him? Wow, he's close. Haha, that's pretty cool. Oh man, he's really close. All right, let's get out of here. We'll scoot. So I'm definitely going to have to take a look at the EXP settings. I believe they do have them within the Vision Plus 2 application. Tune in those EXP settings just so that this drone is a little bit easier to fly. We're at about 34% battery right now. Take a look at the remote battery to the left there, 72%. I believe I started with 92%, 94%, and that battery drained pretty quickly. See, if I wanted to do like an orbit or something, like if I want, all right, this is not a beautiful subject, but if I wanted to orbit these, what are they? Storage facilities. storage pods. If I go to orbit and spin, it's kind of jumping around. And usually I expect something that's a little bit more smooth and precise, like the Mavic or like the Inspire. Even the Mavic Mini is such a great flyer, but this just feels, I don't know, like I've said, a little bit jumpy. Alright, so now we've got that low battery warning. Look, I'm just going to bring it back now. And as I'm bringing it back, I'll kind of give you guys my first impressions of the drone. I think that the major selling point for this drone is absolutely going to be the waterproof aspect and the fact that it can land and take off on water. I mean, that's cool, and I can't take away anything from the drone itself. It feels clunky right now, like even though the movements are precise when I actually, I guess, what am I trying to say here? When I make the movement on the stick, it automatically does that movement for me on the drone. So I would say that there's very low latency. In terms of movement, it does feel a little bit more precise. But once you start getting like the floats put on there, once you put the waterproof case on there, I just don't know how it would react. You notice just flying backwards, I've done nothing but push the stick forwards, and the drone seems to be veering from the left into the right. I don't know if that's the actual drone itself, maybe if it's just the gimbal. Again, I'm not really all that sure. So let's bring this drone down now. We're at about 22% battery. I would say that we flew for a decent amount of time, probably just under 20 minutes, pushing this drone pretty much entirely to its max up and down the water. We'll bring it down here. So as the drone is landing, you guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see from the PowerVision PowerEgg X. It seems like a very fun drone. I do want to take some more time to dial it in. This is just a first flight video, kind of my first flight impressions. So obviously down the line, things could get better or things could potentially get worse, depending on how the firmware updates go. But the one thing that I'm just so excited for is to be able to actually fly this drone in the rain, being able to land it and take off on the water. That's going to be fun. So definitely look out for that video next. I kind of like the design of the drone too. It's very sleek. The first PowerEgg was like an actual egg. This one is a smaller egg with aerodynamic arms. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this first flight of the PowerVision PowerEgg X. Let me know what you guys want to see from this drone. And as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.